And now I would like to request on the dais, kindly come Brigadier Sanjay Agrawal ji, who is Sena Medal and Bar, is former Security Advisor, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, Advisor, National Highway Authority of India, Advisor to the Government of Seychelles and President of the Services Selection Board in the Government of India. Please welcome a big round of applause, Brigadier Sanjay Agrawal.
प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विनय कुमार, माननीय मुख्य अतिथि, मान्य सभी वक्तागण, अतिथिगण और सभी दर्शक, मुझे आमंत्रित किया गया है अपने विचार प्रकट करने के लिए। विषय दिया गया है मुझे विकसित भारत 2047, द रोल ऑफ कॉरपोरेट्स, और इसको मैं अगले 12-15 मिनट के अंदर 2 भागों में करूँगा। विकसित भारत की अवधारणा पे मैं अपने विचार रखूँगा। तत्पश्चात कॉरपोरेट लीडर्स इस अवधारणा के अंदर के टेंजिबल एट्रीब्यूट्स को कैसे साकार कर सकते हैं और भारत देश के लिए पा सकते हैं, इस पे चर्चा करेंगे। अधिकतर उदाहरणों के जरिए से इसको मैं उजागर करूंगा। बस इतनी सी कार्रवाई मैंने करनी है। तो अगर आप देखें, विकसित भारत इज एक्चुअली द विजन given to us by our beloved Prime Minister to make our country developed in consonance with the centenary celebrations, which are now 23 years from now. And therefore, the vision for this envisages economic prosperity, environmental sustainability, and notice environmental sustainability is a topic which has not been addressed by the Western world in their progress. Today, when they have progress, they are talking about it. But when they were at this stage, they did not do it. And the third is social progress and delivery of social justice. And then finally, we, as an important part of Viksit Bharat, want an agile governance which is based on sound policies and accountability. So this is one framework. ये एक अवधारणा का एक चेहरा तो ये हुआ. And the 4 more major pillars of Viksit Bharat could be said to be our youth, युवा पीढ़ी, महिलाएं, our women, गरीब, that is the economically weaker sections of society, and finally our annadata, that is our kisan. And when we talk of the theme of Viksit Bharat, you could say that there are about 5 themes actually, and they would revolve around empowering Indians. And how do you empower Indians? Give them good health care. Just 10 days ago, there has been an announcement for 𝙂𝙡𝙬𝙗 Bharat that free medical insurance cover for all people of any caste, creed or income above 70 years for ₹5 lakhs. This is social justice. This is delivery of health. So I'm happy to say that the government is actually doing what it is saying should be done. So empowering India through health, education and upskilling. Our demographic curve is a boon, but can be a bane also. And therefore, this upskilling is a critical issue. Employment provisions beyond the government. Nari Shakti. And I, for the last 10 years, always quote, once there is a standard 2+2 dialogue between India and America, where the defense minister and foreign minister of both countries meet. And coincidentally, at that time, the defense and foreign minister of America were both 6-footed gentlemen. And who were the defense minister and foreign minister of India? The defense minister was Nirmala Sitharaman ji, and the foreign minister was Swargiya Sushma Swaraj ji. So two ladies representing India on the international stage on the India-US 2+2 dialogue. What better statement for women empowerment? Empowering Indians also by culture and by bringing in a caring society. Look at yourselves. When you went abroad and in that zoo or safari, whether it was in Singapore or it was in Las Vegas or it was in San Diego, I would say Indian because I am a Fauji, but many Indians would not say Indian. They would not say. Today when you go, even a Paki says Indian. I'm not joking. There you are. In your friend circle in America, the lady says, जी ऐसी किट्टी पार्टी चाह रहे हैं, मैं ऐसी तो अलीगढ़ से रहने वाले हैं. She is from Punjab, Pakistan, but they want to say India because the Indian culture is very well respected. The second pillar could be a thriving and sustainable economy. Note my emphasis on the word sustainable. And this would include infrastructure, industry, manufacturing, services, agriculture, energy security, green economy, and I would talk about futuristic urbanization because I've been advisor NHAI. Your cities can become urban jungles with all negatives. So futuristic, smart, thoughtful urbanization is very much a part of Viksit Bharat. And the third is innovation, science and technology. And then in that you will of course have all the R&D, all the startups, all the digital part. Also part of the Viksit Bharat would be good governance and security and all the next generation reforms that we are talking about. And finally, as part of Viksit Bharat, I want to talk of India and the world. You see, we sometimes have been calling ourselves, बहुत confidence से तो नहीं बोलते हैं अभी, लेकिन बोलते हैं विश्व गुरु, वासुदेव कुटुंबकम, कि जी हमने 21 जून योगा डे दिया, लेकिन हम विश्व गुरु बन गए हैं क्या? बन रहे हैं, प्रयास है, एक गंतव्य है, पहुंचे नहीं है. वहां पहुंचना है विकसित भारत के अंतर्गत और वहां बने रहना है. That is your relationship with the world as a Vishwa Guru. And what do we do to reach there? We need a transformative agenda which has been outlined. We need milestones and schedules. I'm a great one for milestones and schedules, being advisor in both the Home Ministry with Rajnath ji and in the NHAI with Gadkari ji. ये होना है. क्या काम कब तक होगा? इस बड़े काम को आप 10 हिस्सों में बांट दीजिए. Now people get uncomfortable कि सर ये 2 महीने में करना है, सर 3 साल है, 3 साल 10 हिस्से के लिए है, नहीं होगा काम नहीं तो. And with this background on my concept of Viksit Bharat, ये है मेरी विकसित भारत की अवधारणा. अब कॉर्पोरेट्स ने इसमें कैसे योगदान देना है, इस पे थोड़ी चर्चा कर लेते हैं. बड़ी कंपनियां हों, छोटी कंपनियां हों, इनके शीर्ष प्रबंधन हो, इनकी भूमिका क्या रहेगी? Corporate leaders must help the government. Firstly, promote an indigenous development policy. Not like the education policy of the past, which destroyed the Gurukul Parampara of India, which destroyed the education system which was highly advanced, and thanks to Lord Macaulay, and worse, thanks to the brown Indian Lord Macaulay clones, where we valued, and I am also a product of that, Loreto Convent and La Martiniere College. And it is today that we are getting our Navodaya Vidyalayas, etc. back. So we need that part of an indigenous development model where economic development does not come at the cost of social development. It has to be holistic development, not only economic, it has to be spiritual and social as well. That is the legacy that we have, and we will maintain it. And I'm happy to say, under the new education policy, since I'm a distinguished professor and I teach there, when I talk about the Ramayana, etc., I also had to do a lot of studies because my foundation was not as strong as it should have been. So I'm happy to say that executive MBA grown-up people between 30 and 40 years of age listen carefully and are interested in knowing what exactly are the lessons from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana which apply today. And doing all this requires a whole of country approach. Why I am stressing this is, ये तो सरकार का काम है जी, सरकार कर लेगी. ये तो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों का काम है, हम तो छोटी कंपनी है. Sorry. हम सब साथ हैं. It's a whole of country approach. I must do what I can do. He or she will do what he or she can do. But we are all in it together. So that whole of country approach is important. The government has to ensure certain things, a strong policy framework, a robust accountability system, good geopolitical relationships, strategic investments in infrastructure and human capital. These are the kinds of things that the government will ensure. But also equally the corporate has its own role. It has to assist in policy making, in analyzing the challenges and leveraging them. For example, right now, 700 to 1,000 companies, textile companies in Bangladesh have closed down. And the initial feedback I am getting is that the Indian textile industry is absolutely on the ball, it is alive to it, and this opportunity is coming our way the way it should. Well done. So that is what the corporate has to do. Whether it is in education, in healthcare, in renewable energy, in digitization, in banking, in space ventures, maximum startups, small startups are in the private sector, and also in the delivery of social justice. Now let me give you some examples. Very briefly the government examples, and then in some detail with specific names, corporate examples. In the government, various structural reforms have been done, whether it is the GST, whether it is the IBC, the Insolvency and the Bankruptcy Code, whether it was earlier the demonetization, on top of which came the UPI, NPCI, RuPay, and on top of that came the linking of the Aadhaar, the India digital stack, which 23 countries of the world, and they are not all African countries. When I go out, no, they are African. I said, no sir, half of them are European developed countries. The way this country has done, A, the biometric composition of Aadhaar, and B, the linkage. And let me give you an example here of COVID. I have posted this on Facebook then. Of course, they keep trying to hack it, and Facebook has told me you put a triple password. So I have done that. What happened in COVID? America was issuing COVID certificates like a chungi naka ka certificate, haath se likha hua. India was issuing a OCR, QR coded certificate. So they got upset and they said, no, this is not valid because this Aadhaar is not, the passport is not linked, only Aadhaar is linked. It took India only 20 days, ladies and gentlemen, to link your passport with your COVID certificate. It was a slap on the face of all those who call themselves. Result, in Dubai, where always the Goras had a separate priority line for whatever reason, Indian passport holders, separate line. Why? Because you had a OCR COVID certificate. Checking it was zero problem. It had the passport detail. You could apply, put that there electronically. So there was a separate line for Indians. How nice, with a faster disposal in a place like Dubai. So that is where we are going. And we need all of our support, not lie back. Yeah, बहुत हो गया, बहुत और होना है. We've got the RERA, we've got the 76,000 crore rupee productivity linked incentive issues, we have the chip industry, we have the EV policy, this insurance I have told you. Just few months ago we have updated 3 major legal statutes, the IPC, the CRPC and the Evidence Act. It's a major issue. I mean, many of you may not be involved in it and therefore, it will escape you, but it is a major issue. And now coming to the corporate examples. Firstly, of the 3 major companies, Tata's, my bag is there. Will you just take out the Tata's book from my bag, please? There are so many examples, I will not quote any one of them, right from Jamshedji Tata's time, because I teach this. He had got PF then, Jamshedji Tata. Ma'am is here from Air India. Sir is from Airport Authority of India. So, Jamshedji Tata, and you're telling me that America and the West is giving us these things? He had thought of maternity leave. He had thought of overtime pay. 40 stories from Tata. These are the live examples. Reliance, very recently, Hanuman AI and Jio phone call AI. Let these come in, like what has happened 2 days ago with the Israeli pager explosions. I am very hopeful that what Mukesh Ambani Reliance Industries is producing is going to be world cutting edge technology in Hanuman AI and in Jio PhonePe AI. It also allows you to record and transcript. So it will give you a printout of your talk. Wow. Adani Group. Think infrastructure, think Adani. There are so many examples of India, roads, ports, but all our port line, and look at Haifa port in Israel. When has India even thought of outbidding China? We did it successfully. They also got a part. But they were very upset that India's got this contract. Well, India has. And obviously there were strategic reasons that we wanted that contract, and the money was secondary. Now coming to certain smaller companies. 10 days back, today is 20th, 11th September, Pixel. It's a Bangalore-based Indian startup on the space. It has bagged an order from NASA for $176 million. And the contract is for 4 years till 2028. And obviously if they do good work, they'll get more. It gladdens me to see such companies. Zero Circle. It's a small Indian company which is replacing plastic by a product made from seaweed. Replacing plastic made by a product from seaweed, which is as solid and strong as plastic, and yet when required it will dissolve in 3 to 4 hours. Similarly, there's a company called Carbon Craft. They are making tiles from tires. There is a company, I come from Greater Noida. In Noida, there's a company, all your pavement tiles and your garden walkway tiles, they are making from recycled plastic. So these are the success stories the corporates must nurture, provide VC funding, provide the technical support. There is a company in Noida, and there are 3 more that I know of in India, which are making leather from, guess what? Cactus. एक पौधे से चमड़ा बना रहे हैं. And you know that leather is antithetical to many religious beliefs. So this is the leather from cactus part. A portable wind energy electric turbine. So electric turbines, many people have made wind turbines. This is a boy from Barmer, Rajasthan, who has made this, Dungal Singh. It will produce electricity when you can't even feel the wind. 1.5 meters per second wind speed, it will produce electricity. So there are such wonderful things happening in India. They need scaling up. And when I talk of scaling up, after lunch you will be having CSR sessions. My litmus test for any innovation or MSME product is it scalable? Is it world standard in terms of quality? Will it solve my problems of 20 years ago, future, or is it solving yesterday's problem? It must solve a future problem. And therefore, finally, what is the role of corporate leaders to help all this? And since I teach strategic planning and implementation, and I have to repeat it in every class, let me say it here. The role of top leaders is to create an enabling environment so that the right questions can be asked and appropriate decisions be formulated by participative decision making and implemented by consensus. 5 things I've told you in this. It's important. And the last thing I want to talk about for educational institutions and corporates is that our countrymen must have 3 things: culture, consciousness, which itself is consciousness of so many things, and competence. And lastly, I would like to say that when we are talking of Viksit Bharat, national development, we need to be careful that short-term solutions don't become long-term problems. What are oil bonds? The interest on which was 40,000 crores 3 years back. It was a short-term solution with a long-term problem with us. So ladies and gentlemen, I would end here by saying that the corporates and the corporate leaders have a major role to play in this all-of-country approach for Viksit Bharat. Dhanyavad, Jai Hind.